Okay, so I just want to make a quick little video today. I've got this new GoPro, and what I want to do is mount it right here on the front of my bike. Now, I don't know, some people may not care too much, but I'm a little bit picky. I want to be sure that when I mount this, that it's not canted one way or the other. I'd like to be able to keep it straight ahead. There's no reference points on here, everything is a curve. So what I want to do is show you something that I used to do. It's an old body trick when you're doing body work on cars, and it's a way to approximate curves. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this blue tape and cover this area in blue tape here. So I'll show you how we go about doing that. Okay, we're going to get our blue tape, and we're just going to start. We want to be able to capture some of these architectural surfaces here because those are going to be reference points. So we're going to go up here, even though we're not putting the GoPro anywhere near there, and get our tape stuck down. It's a curved surface, might take a few trial and errors to get it to go kind of linear across the surface here. There we go. First layer. Okay, we'll do the next thing. This one might need to be down a little bit further. That tape seemed a little short. There we go. Next layer. And we want to be sure we overlap these all the way down. Because what we're going to do is create a template of this surface. Okay, get these in. And it doesn't matter if you have some wrinkles and some other things in here, that's perfectly fine. Okay. A little more tape. Yeah, and again, these little wrinkles don't matter at all. What we do want to do, though, is you see here there's a little bit of a rise and some bubbles. We want to be sure the tape goes all the way to the edge. So we're going to pull this back up and just kind of run it in with our fingernail to get it right up to that edge, because that's going to be our reference mark. Okay, there we go. Now you don't need to cut the tape here, this is just to crease a reference into it. Okay, and trace these inner surfaces with a nail, a fingernail, not a metal nail. Now you can also take a Sharpie and trace this out, but I always like tracing with the fingernail first. That way it gives the Sharpie a nice line to follow versus just trying to do this freehand in these little grooves. Okay, so now what we've done is we've created a three-dimensional mold that we can transform onto a two-dimensional surface. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, move over to the bench, and we'll reset, and I'll show you what we do over there. Okay, here we are over at the bench, and you can see I've flattened our three-dimensional mold into a two-dimensional image. So now what we can do is take some of our reference points, and of course I'll need a longer scale than this. Okay, here we are at the bench, and you can see we've flattened our three-dimensional structure onto a two-dimensional surface. We have some reference points. This point and this point are symmetrical on the bike. So what we can do now is draw between the two of those a reference line. Okay. Okay, so now we've got a reference line that we know basically splits this top and bottom. And actually I'm a little bit off here. You can see I'm high over here. Trying to do this around the camera, forgive me. I didn't set up for this. This is just a quick and dirty, so something I was in the middle of and thought other people might like to see. I've used this same method to make curved body panels for vehicles in the past. So it works out pretty good. What we can do here is if you want to get really, really accurate, you can go ahead and you can get a compass and divide this line and find a center line and so on and so forth. But there is an easier way. I just have to go get my machinist square and be right back. Okay, for all intents and purposes, this isn't, machining. So let's go ahead and see where we're at here. We're looking for, 8 1/4 between those 2 points. Good. So 4 1/8 gives us a center mark. There's our center. Now we can just take our square and line it up here with our line. Now again, this doesn't have to be that exact. What I want is I want the GoPro to be straight. I don't necessarily care that it's perfectly centered, but I do care that it's pretty straight on the system. On the bike, sorry. Off a little bit there. Again, forgive me trying to do this around the camera from the wrong vantage point for me. Okay, there we go. We've got our approximate center of that piece of tape. I'm going to go back and get my GoPro. Alright, we'll take our mount off and just get our sticky pad. Sometimes easier said than done. Okay. Alright, so now we'll take our pad and we can place that in there. There we go. And you see that got that center rib. I can just line this up. There we go. Okay. Now, I've got a nice template for I'm going to put that on the bike. So I'm going to stop the camera and go over and reapply this to the bike and show you where we go next. Okay, sorry everybody, in the rush I did miss a step. Over on the bench I forgot to tell you to cut out the hole where we traced around the mount. Makes it a little easier to stick the mount on. So what we're going to do is come back and use these reference points that we set earlier to get our template right back in place. Alright, you see we're a little high over here. So what we'll do is we'll come back and we'll slide that down just a little bit. And once you get one of them referenced, the rest fall in line pretty well. Okay. And then we just kind of go along with the fingernail, pressing the reference line into the groove that we used to make the reference line. Here we go. There we go, got that one in. Reference line down here. There we go. And everybody's back on their reference line. We have a nice centered hole. So I'm going to go get a little alcohol to clean that with. Clean our spot. All right. Take our GoPro mount, and again we have our reference lines here. This mount's kind of nice. It's got a little center rib. You can help to visually line it up. And we just stick it right in the middle of our template. And there you go, one nicely centered mount. Hope this helps. It's a neat trick. If you're looking for it for body work, it's a great way if you're fixing rust holes in cars to do the same sort of thing. But it definitely helps you to center things on a uneven three-dimensional surface with no reference points. Hope you like it.